All right. Well, there's many ways to actually do it. For example, it can be done with fasting. It can be done with chanting and mantra work. It can be done with dance and song. It can be achieved through breathing and different types of breath work practices. So there's actually many ways to push the mind past the normal boundaries and limits that you usually experience in your day-to-day average level of consciousness. So we will talk about it like this. When you are experiencing psychedelics, you are experiencing communion with non-physical. You are experiencing communion with what you would consider to be the etheric, the astral, the mental, and the spiritual. So in order to experience those levels, those realms, those dimensions, you yourself must become like those realms. You yourself must become like those dimensions. You must take on those qualities that are the qualities of the non-physical realms and worlds. So eating lighter, fasting, this is something that is incredibly important, because if you are constantly bogged down with food, you will identify sensorially more so with physical reality. The more food you're eating, the more calories you're consuming, the heavier the food, the more of a physical sensation you will create for yourself and for your consciousness. So the lighter your diet, the less food you're eating, the more like the air element you will be, the more like the spirit element you will be. So you'll start to induce certain qualities that are reflective of those non-physical spaces. There are certain mantras which, when chanted, can activate the different energetic centers of the body. So these different tones, these different mantras, when sung or when chanted in that type of fasted state, will activate the centers in a way that can allow for that higher dimensional energy that the psychedelics can expose you to begin to flow forth. So remember that these sounds, these mantra sounds, these sacred sounds, give the non-physical energies specific geometric forms that allows for those energies to manifest in a beneficial, positive way on the lower levels, on the etheric and on the physical level. So something like that can also be used. You may also find that different types of sonic experiences can be had that initiate the psychedelic state. For example, there are what have been classically described as the mysteries and the mystery ceremonies that used to take place within different civilizations connected to Europe, for example. And many of these ceremonies would utilize what you would consider to be sound and vibration as a means of bringing someone into an altered state. Usually this would be combined with darkness. It would also be combined with what you would consider to be different types of aromas and fragrances. Many different types of props and tools were used to really dissolve a person's usual sense of physical reality, and it would allow for them to slip into a type of altered state. It would be like dreaming while awake. And this was something that was commonly practiced in secret in your, you could say, ancient past for your people. These were the types of mystery schools that people would be initiated into that would allow for them to receive greater levels of contact from their own higher selves and would allow for them to access what you would consider to be esoteric wisdom and knowledge. So there's many ways to achieve it. If you are looking for something you can work with very easily, we would encourage exploring what is described as holotropic breath work. And if you engage in this, make sure you work with a practitioner who can guide you through it, because the holotropic breathing can be incredibly potent, can be incredibly powerful, can be very useful for accessing psychedelic states, but it is important to use it responsibly and to make sure you have someone there who can assist you in moving the energy through you that the breath work can elicit.